We're in Skiatook, Oklahoma at the studio of the award-winning artist Jerry Yarnell. Jerry's work has been seen around the nation, and tonight is your opportunity to see this talented artist in action. So stay tuned for a colorful expressions. I'm Julie Robbins. Hi, Jerry.
Well, hi.
How are you?
Fine. How are you?
Well, good. This is Jerry Yarnell, and I thought you were an artist, not a photographer.
Well, I'll tell you. Artists generally do spend most of their time with their brush, but you know, to gather reference material, you literally have to go out and do this because sometimes your memory doesn't always work that well. So taking photographs, going back to the studio is a great way to, you know, log in all those thoughts.
Right, and you have a beautiful area here.
Well, we're really excited about this. This is we've got a few acres here that we're turning into an area for students and our collectors and people that come from around the country, different parts of the world that want to study art and that want to collect art. And they come here and they can stay right here on the premises and enjoy the scenery, as well as, you know, have a place to stay. As you'll find out later, we have a beautiful facility for people to come and just enjoy themselves while they're here.
Right, clear your mind, get some ideas, right?
A little fresh air, you know, a little sunshine, and it's good for everybody. You know, when you come and paint, you want to be in a setting that's got the artistic, you know, things going on all the time.
Right.
It's not like just sitting in a studio. It's nice to have the surroundings that kind of show you, you know, what art is all about.
Well, Jerry, how did you get into this?
Well, actually, I didn't just get into it. It's something that you are born with. You can learn to paint, and you can learn to draw, and you can learn to sketch, but those of us that are born with certain talents, you know, everyone has something.
Right.
And I attribute that, and I praise God for that, because he blessed me with a tremendous talent to paint and to share that with others. Teaching is my first love. I love to teach. And I get criticized by my peers a lot because I spend more time teaching sometimes than I do painting for myself, but that's one of the great joys that I have. So I've been painting ever since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. I've never had a job. I've never done anything, or at least that's what people say. When are you going to get a real job? But this is my job.
And so you say job, so you do have people come in, as you say, collectors and want to buy your paintings.
Absolutely. We have collectors that come in literally from all over the world. They come in from all over the different parts of the country. They'll fly in here and stay with us at the studio, and they'll look at the artwork and they'll study it and decide if that suits their needs.
Well, I'm anxious to see your studio.
Oh, I'd love to show you. We're just now in the process, and I want to make sure that you realize that we're getting ready to build in a whole section and out here of walkways and pathways for birds and animals to have, you know, places, and the students can come and sit and study and sketch. So this is all going to be turned into a little sanctuary, so to speak. And they just finished building the studio, and we're getting ready to put the decks and the stairways and all of the facilities. The downstairs will be a framing facility and all the things we need to finish up paintings and shrink wrapping and doing all that. So we still have a lot of work to do, but it's going to be a great spot where people can come and get away from the hectic life and, you know, do things they, you know, kind of dream about doing.
Jerry, who's your assistant here?
Well, actually, that's exactly what he is. He's an assistant. This is Shadow. We have a little boy, Joshua, that does have some special needs, and Shadow was brought into our family as an aid to him. He can open doors and turn off lights and just do a lot of different things that are really helpful for him, and he's a real good just companion. So that's Shadow. So anyway, he's a very important part of what we do here.
Well, I can tell. Ooh, Jerry, I like this.
Well, this is the part that I was telling you about. After we get the outside part finished and the students do their research, we come in here and we'll put it all together. And I'll go ahead and show you right quick the little facility we have for our students and our collectors that come in from
Oh, it's the artist bed and breakfast.
This sort of, well, in a sense, I guess you might say that. This
bed,
is,
no breakfast, huh?
Yeah, a little bedroom suite here with a little kitchenette and 2 beds and, you know, everything you need, TV. And so at the end of their day, they can come in here and get a nice, relaxing time. They have their own entrance in and out, and it's really exciting. We have a full bath and everything they need to just sit here and relax and enjoy themselves.
There's no paintings on the wall.
There's not yet. My wife is, Joni, is doing the decorating, and like I said, it's brand new, so she's just now getting it up, and
you need to paint something that goes in this room.
She wants me to do something specific, yeah, so we'll do that. And then, of course, this is the actual working studio part, and it's been designed specifically to meet an artist's needs. As you can tell, the lighting has been directed to a certain way, and of course, you know, we've got plenty of wall space, and this is where we work.
Well, let's look at some of these paintings.
Okay, well, I might mention, you know, these are all originals here. We do have some prints. These are acrylic paintings. Some of these, like the moose over there, I did up in Yellowstone National Park on the Madison River. The smell box I did up on our farm when we lived up here before, up near Grove, Oklahoma.
The mailbox here was in Grove? Oh,
yeah,
that's gorgeous,
really
though.
a neat, we did a little print on that. It's called No Strangers Here. This piece is just up the road from us. This is we're actually located in what they call the Osage Hills, and this is just up in the hills. This is where my father was born and raised in Hominy, and we spent our youth up here in the stomping grounds here, fishing and hunting.
Beautiful fall picture.
Yeah, I love this particular scene. And I don't know, I might mention this little painting here is a really special piece because it belongs to my wife, Joni. She does particularly like to get flowers because they die, so I gave her this piece for Valentine's Day 2 or 3 years ago. So that's now her paint. It hangs in the living room most of the time, and it never dies. So that, you know, that's kind of like anything else. A painting never dies. It's always there. And then over here, I have a piece that's in process, and I really like this. This is going to be a great painting. This is the little white egrets, and you see those a lot in Oklahoma, and they're just going to be hidden in the grass, but the stark white contrast is a wonderful, wonderful thing, and I think this is going to be one of my best pieces so far at this point, and I can't wait to finish. It's going to have a lot of detail. So
oh, I can tell already. It's not even finished, but you can see the detail.
Well, it's a lot of fun, and this brings back my early years of becoming a wildlife artist. That's how I actually began as a wildlife artist, birds and animals. I did a lot of stuff with Ducks Unlimited and so forth. These two pieces here were from out in the area where we came from in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and the Southwest. These are the prairie dogs, and you can see they're really, it's called the Dandelion Bandits, and this is the Southwest out there also. And just, you know, things like that. Here's a piece that is typical Oklahoma.
I love that.
Being born and raised in Oklahoma, and I wanted to be a cowboy so bad, and I wanted to work on a ranch, and so I do a lot of Western art as well, and this is just a small piece, but a lot of people walk in here and they'll see this and they'll say, oh, I remember that place. I grew up, you know, like that. So anyway, that's kind of how we do it, and of course what you see here is just reference material. This is how we log in our paintings and or our reference material that you were talking about a while ago. And I just might throw this out at you very quickly. You know, we'll paste up our photographs and things out of magazines and books or photographs you've taken just to study from. Of course, you know, you don't want to copy this stuff, but you get ideas from it.
Now tell me, what would you study? Would it be the lighting, colors?
You might study the lighting or the hair, or you might study the wood grain in the wood. You know, you may have a specific thing like the pots or whatever in that particular painting, or this is a book on Indians, as you can well see, and I do a lot of that, but you can see how I get to study all their different types of things, the clothing they wear, the hair, skin tones. You know, you just study this stuff, and then that teaches you more about when you get into these are some photographs of the old-time Indians back in the early days. You can even study other artists' paintings, and it's important to just always be studying and learning, and so I keep everything logged. I've got about 30,000 things now logged on file.
My goodness.
Most of them are things I've done myself, photographs, but a lot of it's from other artists. But that's how we kind of collect our reference material with photographs and sketches, and then we go over to the easel and paint, and that's what I'm going to try.
So then that's where I come in,
That's where you come in. I'm going to show you that you can learn to paint. You may not be, quote, a great artist, but you can learn to paint and have a lot of fun with it. We'll have a good time with it.
Great. Well, when we come back, Jerry's going to show me how to paint, and, well, we'll see how that goes.
It'll be fun.
We'll be right back.
Okay.
We're back, and now Jerry is going to show us how he creates this beautiful painting. What are you doing here, Ben?
Well, actually, I'll tell you, this is an interesting painting. We're right now at the finishing stages of this piece. This started out as an instructional painting, quite frankly, with one of my students from California. And as I began to develop the painting, it started getting a little better and a little better. One of those happy accidents, you might say, in painting. Sometimes, you know, a painting turns out when you don't expect it to. What I'm doing now is putting in all the final details here. And now I know that you just can't wait to get your hands in this, so I'm going to show you what we do to highlight here. And maybe you'll get a chance to try this and see how much talent you have.
Yeah. Tell me, how do you know what to do, the highlights, the shadows? Is that something that's just the natural born talent? Did you read a book to learn this?
Well, no, you don't really read a book. You can read a book, you can take art lessons, you can do a lot of things to become an artist, but again, I'll be real honest with you, if it's a career and it's a profession, it's something that's born in you. It's like a singer, I can't sing. You know, I can't dance, that's for sure.
You just have an eye for it.
You have an eye for it. It's just like people that can play the piano by ear. You know, I know when the light's right. I know when it's time to change from this orange color to a more white highlight, you know, by adding some more white. And see, we have a palette now that's set up, and I might mention, it looks like a big mess here, but frankly, it's a very well organized, well thought out, orchestrated thing. You can look at just like an orchestra, you know, you look at all the people and the instruments and all the stuff. You wonder how and can you make a beautiful piece of music out of all that stuff. Same thing with painting. All the brushes, the paints, they have a specific purpose and a reason for happening. These are acrylics. I work with acrylic because it dries quickly and it's non-toxic. I like oil, but I'm very allergic to oil. They do have the new water mixable oils now, but see, now I can just go up here and I can put on a pebble or a highlight now or a rock, and in 30 seconds it's dry. And see, that's that we already put on there is pretty much dry, and I don't have to worry about it. So that's how that works.
And working with students, that's nice.
And working with students, it's nice. So as I began this painting, you know, I was teaching the lady. She wanted to learn how to do foliage on trees and how to create sort of that forest type look. So we spent 3 days just learning how to do this type of thing. And then when I got far enough along on mine, she would help and she would do hers. And so when I got finished with this piece or got almost finished, she decided she wanted it, so I'm going to sell it to her. So that turned out to be a sort of a neat little, yeah, it's kind of fun. So I have a lot of fun now. See, what I'm doing here is laying in the highlights where the sun is coming through maybe another object over here, maybe some grass or some brush or something. I'm using what we call a red sable brush. Your sable brushes are designed for extreme detail, doing feathers or hair on a person, doing flesh or whatever, and they're very subtle, very soft, and fairly expensive brushes. These are the kind of brushes for detail work. And see, I can go through now and I can dry brush in. This is what we call dry brushing, where you don't have a whole lot of paint, and you can see what it's doing. It's bringing out the light. Right. And these are just little smudges. And I will say this, I have a little motto that I use when I teach and also on our TV show, and it's called the 3 Ps, don't piddle, play, or putter. Well, when you get to this stage of a painting, that's the first thing I teach people is don't play with it, don't piddle with it, because the more you work with it when you get it to a certain point, the more likelihood of it becoming a problem.
Right.
So really, it's not what you put in a painting that makes it work, it's what you leave out.
Now tell me, where did you start on this painting? I mean, you have an empty canvas or what have you here. Where do you know where to start?
I can give you kind of an example here. I have a very small canvas here that this doesn't make any sense to any of you, okay?
No.
But this is the beginning, believe it or not, of a Rocky Mountain waterfall, okay?
Okay.
So,
see, I don't have an eye for this.
You look at this, now this painting began very much like this. See the blue or the purplish background back here? The whole painting was done with a bluish gray background, a purple background, so that when I came in and put my trees, that suggests depth. Okay, so you begin with your background, then you move down into your foreground. It's what we call underpainting. You just block in the whole painting, just kind of get it underpainted. Then you block in the basic shapes of things, and then as you progress, you begin adding more details on top of the other previously painted underpainting. So it's a series of stages, and like I said, it's well orchestrated, it's well planned, and it's sort of the, you know, the law.
It's the law.
You really have no choice. You almost have to do it in a certain order in order for it to come out to look like this. And there's 2 different techniques. This is what we call, this is a true fine art technique of sort of a wet on wet technique. You have the glazing technique that the old masters used to use, which I love, and I do that some too, where you put it on, let it dry, put a thin wash on, let it dry, another wash, and you may have several layers of paint on here to create a certain effect.
It's just beautiful.
You know, it's like the sunlight coming through now. See, I can come through now with a dry brush and dry brush the light coming through like this. And that creates the effect of sunlight, which I will continue to do until I get it as bright as I want it, see?
You make it look so easy.
And the little beads of the canvas you can see now work to my advantage. I can take the brush now and just dry brush. I have a real light touch. See, that's another thing a lot of artists don't have. If you don't have a very light touch, sometimes it's difficult to do certain things. You know, it's just like some people could not be a surgeon or a brain surgeon. I mean, you know, if you have a steady hand, you can do a lot of things. So that's important. But that's how this works. You get it to a certain point, and now we're in the end of the painting, in the final stages, and I'm just now doing what we call accenting. Accenting is putting in like the little flowers, the brighter colors, and like for instance, if I want to come back and put some brighter highlights on the trees back here, I will put a little dab up here.
Well, you just have little globs of paint everywhere, don't you?
Oh yeah, yeah. As a matter of fact, that's the first thing you do when you load your brush. You never start painting. You always dab it off somewhere. That's why when you look at an artist's easel or his apron or wherever, you're always going to dab a little bit to kind of get it adjusted. Then you can come up here and begin the process of highlighting. And see, by putting that little bit of highlight there, it looks like the sun rays are hitting that particular spot. And so that's what I'm doing now, is picking spots where I want brighter light, and that's called accenting or highlighting the painting.
And tell me, what is your favorite theme to paint? Like you said, you did Western and landscapes. What do you like to do?
Well, you know, I've been painting for 25 years, and my very favorite thing is to do the mountain scenes, the Rocky Mountains, the waterfalls, and those scenes. I started out as a wildlife painter. I love birds and animals. I guess it's sort of a tough question because I like it all, but I love the mountains. That's where I'd like to.
And over those years, you've won quite a bit of awards, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been real fortunate, and I thank God for that, because, you know, winning awards isn't everything, but I've probably won now over 100 awards, and been in a lot of major collections and art shows around the country. I have a lot of investors and collectors that purchase the art, and the main thing that's important is, and we've had our tough times too, don't misunderstand. That old cliche about an artist being a starving artist, I've been that route. I've been in the starving range, and we've had a lot of problems in the early days, but you know, if you just don't give up, you just keep trying, anything in life can be a success.
It's wonderful. And Jerry, when we come back, you're going to show me how to paint, right?
You're going to get your chance, and I can't wait for you to try it.
Great. We'll be right back. All right, Jerry, well, it's my turn, right?
I'm afraid it is.
Am I going to start on the blank one here so we can...
Oh, absolutely not. This wouldn't be any fun. I mean, we're going to take something and do a little different. I want you to finish this one up for me. This is a piece that... Yeah.
I'm not touching that one.
Well, actually, just don't be afraid. I'm going to be right here to coach you. You don't have to worry about a thing. And in other words, just trust me. And where have you heard that before? You know, the check is in the mail. So right now, what I need to do is, you can see I've got these rocks, so to speak, what we call underpainted or blocked in, and you can see these are a little brighter, okay?
Yeah.
I need to have a little more sunlight on these, and so that's going to be your job, is to put the sunlight on these 3 or 4 rocks here, or at least one of them.
Okay, well, let's just take the painting outside, let the sun get it.
and then eventually we'll finish these other ones up, but I'll probably do that. So anyway, let's go ahead, and I'll let you have the
okay, we're going to trade places here.
And
the artist chair.
This is the artist chair.
Okay.
And it's automatically trained.
Okay.
So once you sit in it, you won't have
it's comfy.
it's comfy because it's got that pillow there.
Love the pillow.
Well, that's when you sit that many hours, the pillow feels good after a while.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now let me share with you. Now this is the palette, and this is the brush. And this is the end we paint with.
I know that part. Okay.
All right. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take a little bit of this. This is the white paint, and you just put a little dab right there. Then you take a little bit of orange, and you mix in with it like that, and just sort of mix the two together. Okay. And then you take your brush, and I'll kind of give you a little sample.
Okay.
And then you just take it like this, put it on. Now normally what we do is we take our finger and kind of smudge it to soften it.
Okay.
Okay, now if you can do that, you'll have a beautiful rock.
All right.
All right, let's see what happens here.
Okay.
Here's your brush.
Am I ready to go, or
now
I
I'll
need to dab
coach you.
again?
No, you need to dab.
Need
Take
a
a little,
dab.
get a little white.
A little, oops, a little white.
Yeah,
Okay.
just put it right over here somewhere.
In
There
here.
you go. But I'd put a little more white in there.
Okay.
There you go. And then add just a little touch of orange. Not too much.
Whoops, I may have gotten too much.
No, you're all right.
Is that good?
Yeah, mix it in good. All righty.
Okay.
Now go up to the canvas.
I need to hit it on something, right?
Yeah, you might touch it on the edge
Dab
of yeah, just a little dab on the, there you go.
Okay. Now, where do I go?
Pick
Right
your
here?
favorite rock there.
I want this one.
Okay, do that one.
Do I start up here?
Just put a stroke, and then take your finger and soften it. Very good. See there? Okay, now take your finger and just kind of soften the edges slightly. There you go. Excellent. Now see, that's great. Now do the one in front of this one. Do this one so it'll make it look like it stands out.
Is that good?
Wonderful. Take your finger and soften it.
Okay.
Man, see, those are great.
Do I get my initials
Now, you
down
might
here
want,
too?
no, well,
Okay.
we may have to double sign.
Okay.
You might want to reload now.
Okay.
Get
Oh,
some
I like
white.
that. Reload.
Yeah, reload.
Okay.
And then a little bit more,
Orange.
just a touch. Okay.
Whoops.
That's right. Put a little more white in with it.
Okay.
You can always go back and add the white to
A little bit more.
a little more white. Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes
We
it's
got a
kind of
lot of
right up
orange
to.
on there,
There you
yeah.
go. That'll be pretty good.
Okay.
Now do the bigger rock. Yeah. And there may be a couple of spots you can start at the very top. Always start at the top of the
Always
rock.
start at the top. Okay.
There you go. That's it.
Okay.
Now take your finger and kind of soften it so
Okay.
that kind of blends in. There you go. Excellent, excellent. Now come below, just a little below what you just did there.
Okay.
And put a little more highlight.
here? Or,
Right.
oh.
Yeah, just up on the rock. Come, yeah, right in there.
Okay.
There you go. That's it.
Is that good?
And then take your finger and soften it so there's not a hard line. Excellent, excellent. See what a wonderful rock painter
Look
you are?
what I did.
And now it wasn't so hard, now was it?
No, it wasn't.
Okay, now let me show you how to put a flower or two in here very
Okay.
quickly. You just take this brush and you can just take yellow or you can use red or orange, either one. You can just pick your favorite color here in a minute. And all you have to do when you put the flowers on is just really just make little dabs. And, and all that does is suggest flowers. You see, an artist is what we call illusionists. We're really like magicians. We take a blank canvas and we turn it into something that wasn't there before. And it's all done with strokes. And even though that's just a daub of paint, when you stand back and look at it, you create the illusion that it's a flower. Okay? Just like those strokes you put in didn't really make a rock, but we created the illusion because we got the shape. Okay, and so that's how you do that.
I like the bird.
Yeah, well, okay. Now all you do is take your brush and you pick your favorite color here, red, yellow, or orange, and just make some little daubs anywhere over there or over here, up in there.
Ooh, I think I want the red.
Oh, yeah, try some red ones. And make sure they're little daubs.
Okay, now do all red. I don't have to mix it
No,
with
you don't have to
anything?
mix it this time. That's pure
Okay,
color.
Do this little dab here.
Not too much because you want the color to be kind of clean.
Okay,
And
right, right here?
Yeah, you can put
And
some
just
little dabs
dab?
there.
Whoops.
There you go.
Okay, they're looking like dots to me. They don't look like yours. They don't look like your dabs.
Well, you might reload your brush.
Yeah. Reload. Okay.
There you go.
Oh, dab a little bit. Okay. See, I'm thinking they're just dots here.
Okay, well, they are kind of, okay. This goes back to where the art part comes out.
Got him
okay?
stuttering.
So,
See,
yeah.
he doesn't know what to say.
What you've created here is a little pattern of flowers that, the reason they don't look like flowers to you is because you've got a nice even space between each one. That's called negative space. See, all these are dots, but notice my dots are overlapping and touching, creating more of the illusion of a grouping of flowers and not just simply dots, okay? Even though that's what they are. So let me show you now how you can do that.
Okay.
If
You're going to add a different color?
No, I'll go ahead and stick with the red here. Okay, for instance, say I wanted to have some flowers right here. What I'll do is I'll put the dot, just like you did, but I'll organize my dots.
Oh, you have like a little smear action going there, huh?
Yeah. See, I'll overlap them, and I'll create a little bit more, see, where it has more of a blended effect instead of just a dot, and a dot. So
Instead of like yours, Julie.
Yeah, well, I do. But so you can kind of create, you know, flowers kind of grow in groups and they overlap each other so that when you stand back and look at it, you create this suggestion of a grouping. That's all these are, just little dots, okay? And it's how you organize the dots that make them a flower or a dot, okay? So that's all you have to do to kind of create.
So I need to group.
You need to group more and touch the other flowers. Don't be afraid. Now the red's a little weak. You can put it on a little thicker and it will begin to.
Okay. Okay.
That's it. Be a little quicker on the trigger, so to speak.
Quicker on the trigger. Okay. I think I'm probably taking off too much when I do that too.
And when you're doing the flowers, you don't really always have to dab because you want the pure color. Okay.
A little better?
That is better. See, it's starting to look more like a grouping now instead of just a bunch of dots. But now what we'll end up doing is tying other flowers in around it so that it's not just a clump by itself, okay? And that's how we do that. So, you know,
so neat.
It's fun. And I mean, you know, once you've got just a little experience, you've had a little training and a little understanding, what looks like a major problem and a lot of work really is simple. It's just second nature.
Right.
It's just like what you do for your TV and so forth. I can't do some of those things, and you know, we all have our talents and our gifts that God's blessed us with, and so it's just inbred in us.
Well, you certainly are blessed. Jerry,
well, thank you so much. It's been a real joy having you here. Hey, who knows, maybe you'll become an artist.
Maybe. Hey.
Maybe we ought to both of us keep our day jobs while we got.
I think so. We thank you for watching Expressions, and we hope you've enjoyed this. We're going to leave you maybe watching me paint a little bit more. I don't know. We'll see you next week.
Why don't you try some orange ones? The orange kind of shows
Do I
up.
need to get this off?
You don't even have to clean it off. Just mix them together there, and you'll have a